Hello, everyone. Welcome to Off the Charts, episode 399. My name is Dan, and I shall be your host today. So, cheers to you all. If you do like the type of content here, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends, hit the little thumbs up and the little bell to be notified when I publish new content like this. So, maybe a week or so ago, I published an episode with concert footage that was lost in the vault and put some there. And there were two videos or two clips of videos that I said that concert deserves a story in itself. Well, today is that story time. So this is what you would call I'm going to be telling you this story, and probably some of you will be not even believing what I'm telling you right here, but it's one of those, what the hell just happened? But man, oh man, it would make for a great story to tell somebody one day. So this takes place 2010-ish, okay? My friend Steph and I were big time followers of a website called melodicrock.net. I haven't been on that site. I didn't even check to see if it was still on. But my friend Steph noticed that they were making this concert, this special concert in South Bend, Indiana. Now, the lineup, oh my God, let me try to remember. And I'm trying to remember a lot of details here, guys. It had members of Nelson, the two Nelson brothers, members of Night Ranger, Joel Turner from Rainbow and Deep Purple, Jeff Scott Soto from basically every band on earth. Mark Slaughter was there. Some guys from Eye of the Tiger, Survivor, Mr. Big. Trying to remember who else was there. Was so many there that day. But the main reason we were going, and you'll notice I didn't mention this band, because they weren't able to make it or canceled maybe a week before, which was Harum Scarum. So my friend Steph says, okay, well, I would really love to go to South Bend, Indiana to go see this concert. And I was like, man, God, that's a little far to go for that concert, but what the hell? It's only money, right? So we bought tickets for this show, and I think, like I said, a week before, a week or two, maybe a month, I forget how much of an advance notice, that they were not going to be able to make that concert. And that was the main reason we were going. So Steph, like I remember Steph saying, I don't think we'll be going anymore. It'll just be wasted money. Just whatever. And at the last minute, we decided to go anyway. So this is where the adventure begins. So we are in Ottawa, and if I remember correctly, the drive from here to the South Bend, Indiana was a good 10, if not 14 hours. I forget. And Steph, let me know if I forget any details from this story here. So first little adventure, which is something my friend Steph said he's never encountered, myself neither. We arrive at the border, and the guy's like, okay, where are you guys going? Blah, blah, blah. We tell him where we're going, blah, blah, blah. And just out of nowhere, the guy goes, pop up the trunk. And we're like this is not starting off very well here. So anyway, he looked in our car, nothing. All right, guys, you're free to go. And this is where I don't know if I read these signs correctly, but on the highway, when you're in the States on the highway, I forget where we went through. Was it? Oh, it must have been the Windsor, Detroit. Was it there that we went? Yeah, well, it has to be there. Yeah. Anyway, on the highway on the border, there was these signs. It was construction, and I remember the signs were reading hitting a construction worker will result in a, I forget the number, maybe like a, let's say $10,000 fine or death. I'm like, did I just read that right? And there was a few of them, and I kept reading the signs. I'm like, yeah, I think that's what I just read. It's either a $10,000 fine or death if you hit a construction worker. I'm just remembering this, guys. If anybody in the States can confirm that these signs exist, let me know. Or if am I on glue? So I think we went through Windsor or around that area anyway. I forget because the other side is Detroit, which is the next part of the story. And this is before cell phones. Well, cell phones existed. I mean, smartphones with your GPS and all that. So we had to rely on maps. I think we had a map of Ontario, how to get all the way to Windsor and across to Detroit. So we decide to stop in a part of Detroit to go and get a map. So, and he says, okay, I'm going to go check the. So anyway, we stop at this corner store and I'm going to go look for maps in a store. And I think there was a store, a street, and then another, or it was a gas station type of corner store. There you go. That's what it was. So we stopped there. Steph says, "Okay, I'll go and look at the oil just to make sure everything's okay. I'll go and look for maps." So I go inside one of the corner stores for the gas station and goes, "Well, do you have any maps of the state, I guess?" And the guy's like, "No." And I'm noticing, I'm like, my God, they're like that gas station had like thick glass to between the I've never seen that before, like really thick glass, I guess to stop robberies or robbers or whatnot. And he goes, no, but I think the other gas station across the street has some maps. So we go and I tell my friend I'm gonna go across the street to see if I can find some maps. And while I'm walking across the street, I'm noticing around and I'm realizing I'm the only white guy on the street. Everywhere was just Afro Americans, like black people there. And I'm like, okay, where the hell are we here? So anyway, I go across the street, and sure enough, go inside the gas station corner store, whatever. And again, another bulletproof like glass, and it was pretty thick. So I asked the guy, I think I bought a map, and while I'm waiting in line, I'm noticing this mom and her son, and the little kid is like in front of me is stealing chocolate bars, and I forget what the mom said, but it wasn't like don't do that, like it wasn't something like that. So anyway, I got my map, I went the F out of there, went back to my friend Steph, and Steph is looking at me with these big bug eyes. He goes, Dan, let's get out of here, man. And of course, we get into the car, we drive off, and he's telling me that this guy came from around the back of the gas station with urine stains on his jeans, and was offering my friend, "You need a rag, man? I got a rag for you." Anyway, my friend and Steph, we got off of that highway. We went back to our destination. We arrived pretty late that night, if I remember. Like I think we left here like 10 a.m. and we probably it was dark. I remember that. I just forget what time. We arrive at the hotel, and I guess we went to eat and blah blah blah. The next morning, then we order a cab to get to the venue for this concert. So this cab driver is, by the way, the place we are at is South Bend, Indiana, where what the hell's that football team called? Irish? The Irish? Fighting Irish? I know, I forget. I'm not a college football fan at all. Like, not at all. Not one bit. So anyway, the cab driver ends up, for some reason, he brings us, oh, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. He says, oh, he brought us to where the Irish football team plays football. And my friend Steph is a huge Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Is that the team? Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And he's in front. I'm in back, just going, "Oh my God, this cab driver is just friggin' pulling our." Like I was getting mad. My friend Steph is like, after I'm like, "Okay, I want to get to the venue. Let's get out of here." We get out of the cab, and my friend Steph goes, "You know what, Dan? That detour, I didn't mind it because I got to see the stadium for one of my favorite college football teams." He goes, "I almost had a tear," and I was like rolling my eyes, like, really? But anyway, that was our little adventure there. Then we go to the concert, which I will say probably was half full. Um, the bands were fun, as much fun as we've all made of Nelson in the past. They were actually great frontman. They actually made fun of themselves. Plenty jokes there. I won't remember all the. But anyway, after that, no, it was before the concert starts. So you guys all know Martin Popoff, right? So let me just finish. We I noticed there are these little booths of people selling, and I'm going to Steph. I'm like, "Isn't that Martin Popoff?" And I was starting to know him. Okay, I knew how he looked like, and blah blah blah. And he is from Toronto, so it's what this is 4 hours away from 4.5 hours away from Ottawa, where I am. Where do I meet Martin Popoff for the first and only time? In South Bend, Indiana, at that concert. Enough that I introduced myself. I went and bought this book from him. He signed it for me too. But yeah, it's funny that, and we talked about a little bit about how he got me into Gamma regarding his other 80s books there. But it was just funny how two Canadians, the only place that they'd ever met, and I bet you he doesn't remember. I'm going to try to get him on my channel and ask him if he remembers that concert at least there. But yeah, we meet like 14 hours away in this, I wouldn't say obscure, but it was obscure for where we came from. And yeah, meeting Martin Popoff there in South Bend, Indiana. So the concert was fine. It was fun there. I would say, like I said, half full. Got to see many acts. We got our pictures taken with, oh my God. Well, you saw the thumbnail there with Eric Martin from Mr. Big. My friend got his picture taken with Jeff Scott Soto, which I'll post right here. But yeah, that was like the less interesting part of this story is actually the concert, believe it or not. So we order another cab ride, but before we got to the cab ride, I'm just remembering this now, Steph. I don't know if it was because they were there was not as many people as they expected, but like going out of the concert venue, they were giving, like, they had stacks of 24 cans of energy drinks. I forget, maybe it was Monster or Rockstar. I forget what the name of the energy drink was, but they were literally giving them away. It's like, "Okay, take these, like, we don't know what to do with them." So I took one, a case of 24, and those tall boy type of. So here I am with a friggin' 24, and we're hailing a cab. Now this cab ride this is the one we keep laughing at here. So we got, and okay, for context, this apparently was Notre Dame's, the football team, um, one of their worst seasons ever. Okay, now we grab a cab. The woman is, I don't want to insult anybody, was like total redneck type woman. Not making fun of the driving there, but like the way she looked was like total redneck. And then she is telling us, she's like, okay, driving us back to our hotel, telling us how she was debating picking us up because Notre Dame had won that game, a game that night. So she was debating, and she's telling us this story and just laughing, and like we're in the back seat, and she's laughing, and I'm going like, "Man, just keep your eyes on the road, man, lady." So she's laughing. It's like her laugh reminded me of if you've seen the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, when Steve Martin and John Candy are in the car and they're going through two 18 wheelers, and then John Candy is laughing like the devil. It reminded me of that. I just thought of that now. I don't know if I've ever compared it to that. And she was telling us this story about, because they had won a game that night, that someone had put a barrel on fire, like I guess a wine barrel, and put it on fire and threw it down some street. And I was just going, what the hell is going on here? And anyway, that was just one cab ride. Like I've never been either so scared of being driven by a cab driver. And the story she was telling us, I was just like, what the hell is going on? Anyway, so we went to bed, whatever. The next morning, we went and stopped at Spencer Gifts. There was no Spencer Gifts here in Canada at the time, maybe in Toronto. But I went there and I noticed, we were walking around, I noticed some 4 Kiss glasses. All right, I want to get those Kiss glasses. I told Steph I'm going to get those Kiss glasses. So we walk around the store some more just to see if there's anything else of interest. There wasn't. So I'm like, all right, if I grab some glasses, I bring them to the counter and pay for them. We leave and all that. And that's when we drive back. And I think my friend Steph wanted to go see the David Lee Roth reunion tour with Van Halen, but it was like the only way we were able to get tickets was through scalpers, and I was like, no, like I did not want to, like, I was once stopped by a cop for him assuming I was selling tickets, and I think, Steph, that was you I was waiting for at Lansdowne Park. And since then, I do not want anything to do with scalpers. Anyway, that's the reason why I said no. And then Steph's like, okay, fine, we'll continue on. Anyway, he drops me off at my house, and I take off my stuff, and I look at the glasses I bought. I'm like, Pink Floyd? What the hell is Pink Floyd? Like, I chose this? And my friend Steph's answer was, well, I thought that's what you wanted. I didn't say anything. He saw me pick up Pink Floyd glasses, put them on the counter, didn't say a word because he thought that's what I wanted. So anyway, now I got stuck with Pink Floyd glasses. I don't have them anymore. They faded off because I put them in the dishwasher way too often. Now, the last part of the story is we went back home and all that. He went back to his place. And the next morning, he was telling his coworkers about our trip and where we stopped in Detroit. And his friends were like, "You stopped where in Detroit?" And he was telling us where he goes, "You idiots, that's the worst neighborhood in Detroit ever." I guess it was like stopping at the Bronx back in the 70s and 80s, I guess, type of neighborhood. I don't know there. All I know is it was friggin' scary and uncomfortable being there in daylight. And it's like my friends telling me, goes, yeah, my friends at work were telling us like how crazy we were to have stopped there in that part of Detroit. Because, we told them which exit we took, and his friends at work were like, oh my God, what did you guys do? But yeah, so when I said that this was a little episode in itself, this is my little story of how me and my friend Steph went to South Bend, Indiana for a concert where the main act canceled. It was half full. Managed to stop in the most dangerous part of Detroit without knowing. Got stopped at the border thinking that wasn't too bad, but the cab rides, the one where the guy just brought us to South Bend, Indiana stadium, I was like, but my friend loved it, so I'm not going to complain about it. But that woman cab driver after, I was like, what was that? So anyway, that's my little story. From time to time, I will do these little stories because there's really, like I said, I did that one. I'll put the link after if you don't remember the girls copy paste at work fiasco. I'll put that as my the next episode. You can click here if you're curious. I've only done 2 of these stories time there, so we'll see if these are interesting for you guys. If so, maybe I'll do more. Well, there's lots more dumb stories I can share there, but yeah, this one was a real doozy here. So got to meet Martin Popoff, 14 hours away. When here we are in both in Canada, 4 hours away, but here we go and meet. Was it 10 or 14 hours away? One of the two. It's a fucking long trip, I can say that. So anyway, that is my episode for today. Just a little story. And well, that's it. I'm trying to make sure I remembered everything from that trip. Steph, if I'm missing anything, let me know in the comments, okay? So on that note, have yourselves a great whatever, guys. And we shall see you guys next episode, episode 400. Take care. Bye-bye.